Your chest tightens, your thoughts spiral, and the world feels like it's closing in. Stress is suffocating you, whether it's a screaming deadline, an overflowing inbox, or the sting of a heated argument that won't leave your mind. You're not alone in this chaos. 90% of people are trapped in the same cycle, unaware of a 3-second science-backed trick that can break the grip of stress and restore your clarity. This isn't meditation, not deep breathing, not some trendy app you need to subscribe to. It's a brain reset, a neurological shortcut that flips the switch on panic and puts you back in control. I'm going to walk you through every detail of this game-changing technique, step by step, so you can wield it the moment stress strikes, anywhere, anytime. Stress isn't just a bad mood. It's a biological ambush. Your brain's amygdala, that primal alarm system, unleashes a flood of cortisol and adrenaline, thrusting you into fight or flight mode. Your focus narrows to a pinhole. Your heart pounds, and every minor issue morphs into a towering crisis. The worst part? Most people try to muscle through, thinking sheer willpower can conquer the overwhelm. That's like flooring the gas pedal with a flat tire. You're only grinding yourself down. Chronic stress doesn't just cloud your thinking, it physically alters your brain. Research shows it shrinks the prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for decision-making, impulse control, and emotional regulation. Left unchecked, it's a straight path to anxiety, burnout, and serious health issues. Heart disease, diabetes, and depression are all linked to prolonged stress, with studies estimating a 40% increased risk of cardiovascular events for those under its constant weight. This isn't just about feeling frazzled, it's about your survival. But here's the lifeline. You don't need a therapist on speed dial or a month-long sabbatical to reclaim control. You don't need to overhaul your diet, master yoga, or buy into expensive wellness fads. The 3-second brain reset is a tool you can deploy in the heat of the moment. Whether you're stuck in a traffic jam, navigating a high-stakes meeting, or lying awake at 3 a.m. with a racing mind. Rooted in cutting-edge neuroscience, it interrupts the stress response at its core, recalibrating your brain in seconds. I've taught this to CEOs, Olympians, and overworked parents, and the results are undeniable. Sharper focus, steadier emotions, and a sense of command that feels almost effortless. This isn't about escaping stress, it's about mastering it. Let's dive into how it works. The reset consists of 3 precise steps, each taking 1 second, and I'll guide you through them so you can start using it today. But first, let's unpack the science behind it. Your brain is a supercomputer, juggling countless tasks at once. When stress hits, it's like a malware attack. Your system freezes, and rational thought gets hijacked. The 3-second reset is your emergency reboot, leveraging a process called sensory gating. This is your brain's ability to filter out irrelevant noise and prioritize critical signals. By using targeted, intentional actions, you can override the stress response and shift your brain into a calmer, more focused state. It's not about willpower. It's about hacking your neurology. Step 1. The anchor. Stress starts in your body, tight shoulders, clenched fists, a knot in your stomach. The anchor grounds you in the present, stopping your mind from spiraling into catastrophic what-ifs. Here's how it works. Press your thumb firmly into the center of your opposite palm. Hold it for 1 second, focusing on the pressure. This isn't a random gesture. It stimulates the median nerve, which sends a direct signal to your brain's somatosensory cortex, yanking your attention away from the stress loop. Don't just press and move on. Zero in on the sensation. Feel the texture of your skin, the slight warmth, the subtle pulse beneath. This 1-second action is your lifeline, a physical cue that tells your brain, I'm here, I'm steady. Step 2. The shift. Your brain is still wired for panic, so you need to redirect its energy. Take a sharp, audible sniff through your nose, like you're trying to catch a faint scent. Do it fast, in less than a second. This engages your olfactory bulb, a brain region with a direct line to the limbic system, which governs emotions. The sudden sensory spike disrupts the amygdala's alarm, giving your prefrontal cortex a window to take charge. Then, purse your lips and blow out softly, as if cooling a hot drink. This activates your vagus nerve, a key player in your parasympathetic nervous system, which slows your heart rate and signals safety. The sniff and blow sequence takes 1 second and acts like a neurological circuit breaker, halting the stress cascade. Step 3. The lock. You've grounded your body and shifted your brain. Now you seal the reset. Say a single word to yourself, silently or aloud. Clear. This isn't fluffy self-help. It's a verbal command that reinforces rational thought. Neuroimaging studies show that even a single word of self-talk activates the left frontal lobe, dampening the amygdala's overdrive. Choose a word that resonates. Some prefer focus or steady, but keep it short and consistent. Say it with authority, like you're issuing a directive. This final 1-second step locks in the reset, putting you firmly back in control. That's the formula. 3 seconds, 3 steps, anchor, shift, lock. Press your thumb, sniff, and blow. Say clear. You can do this at your desk, in line at the grocery store, or mid-argument. It's discreet, instant, and works even if you're rolling your eyes at the idea. I've seen it pull people out of panic attacks, steady surgeons before life or death procedures, and calm parents in the chaos of a toddler meltdown. A tech founder I coached uses it before every investor pitch. A teacher relies on it to manage classroom chaos. It's not a miracle. It's your brain's wiring, optimized for resilience. Why does this stand out from the crowded world of stress hacks? Deep breathing is effective but takes minutes. You don't always have, and it's awkward in public. Meditation apps are great for long-term practice, but they're useless when you're spiraling in the moment. Positive affirmations often feel hollow when your brain is screaming that everything's falling apart. The 3-second reset is built for the real world. Fast, practical, and grounded in hard science. A 2023 study in the Journal of Neuroscience found that brief sensory interventions, like those in this reset, can slash cortisol levels by 25% in under a minute. That's not just a mental shift. It's a measurable change in your body's chemistry. You might wonder why this isn't common knowledge. The answer is frustrating but simple. The stress management industry is stuck in the past, peddling outdated advice, like take a hot bath or go for a walk. Meanwhile, breakthroughs in neuroscience are trapped in academic papers or gated behind elite coaching programs. Pharmaceutical companies have no interest in a free 3-second fix when they can push billion-dollar anti-anxiety drugs. Wellness influencers are too busy selling overpriced retreats or essential oils. The 3-second reset cuts through the noise. It's free, universal, and doesn't demand you change your life to use it. Let's test it. Think of a stressful moment, maybe a looming work crisis, a family conflict, or that gnawing feeling of being stretched too thin. Feel the tension in your jaw, the racing pulse. Now do the reset. Press your thumb into your palm, firm but not painful. Sniff sharply, blow softly. Say clear. Notice the shift. Your breathing steadies, your mind clears, and the overwhelm loosens its grip. It doesn't erase your problems, but it equips you to face them with precision and poise. You're not bottling up the stress, you're rewiring how your brain handles it. This reset is a Swiss Army knife for life's chaos. Use it reactively when you're on the verge of snapping. Use it proactively, like a mental warm-up before a big presentation or tough conversation. Teach it to others, your kids, your team, your partner. A client of mine taught it to her anxious teenager, who used it to crush a nerve-wracking debate competition. A paramedic I worked with relies on it during high-stakes emergencies. It's not about dodging stress, it's about owning it. Let's dig deeper into the science, because understanding the why will make you trust the how. The anchor step, pressing your thumb, taps into proprioception, your brain's map of your body's position. This is why squeezing a stress ball or pacing feels grounding. It gives your brain a physical anchor to latch onto. The median nerve in your palm is a hot spot for sensory input, sending a robust signal that competes with the amygdala's panic mode. It's like blasting a clear radio signal to cut through static. The shift step, with the sniff and blow, is a neurological masterstroke. Your olfactory system is unique. It's the only sense with a direct pipeline to the limbic system, bypassing the slower analytical brain regions. A quick sniff creates a burst of neural activity, like hitting the pause button on emotional chaos. The vagus nerve activation, from the soft exhale, is equally potent. The vagus nerve is your body's natural tranquilizer, regulating heart rate, digestion, and inflammation. Stimulating it with a controlled exhale tells your parasympathetic nervous system, "We're safe, stand down." This is why people sigh instinctively under stress. It's the body's clumsy attempt at self-regulation. The lockstep saying "clear" is the final piece of the puzzle. Language isn't just for communication. It's how your brain organizes chaos. Studies using fMRI scans show that verbalizing emotions, even with one word, reduces amygdala activity while boosting the prefrontal cortex. It's like giving your brain a firm nod and saying, "We're good." The word itself is less important than the intention behind it. You're drawing a mental line, telling stress to take a back seat. Skeptical, I don't blame you. When you're drowning in stress, a 3-second fix sounds like a sales pitch. But simple doesn't mean weak. Think of a defibrillator. A single shock can restart a heart. The 3-second reset is a defibrillator for your mind, targeted, minimal, and powerful. The key is repetition. Each time you use it, you strengthen the neural pathways, making it easier for your brain to default to calm over chaos. It's like training a muscle. The more you flex it, the stronger it gets. When should you use it? The obvious answer is during acute stress, when your boss drops a last-minute bombshell, when your toddler's meltdown is testing your last nerve, or when you're staring at a bank balance that's dangerously low. But it's also a weapon against chronic stress, the kind that simmers for weeks or months. That low-grade anxiety, the irritability, the sleepless nights. Make the reset a habit, like flossing or checking your phone. Do it in the morning to prime your mind for the day. Do it at night to clear the mental debris before sleep. Stress is inevitable. Letting it dominate you isn't. What's the cost of ignoring this? If you let stillness pile up without a release valve, it's not just your mood that takes a hit. Chronic stress rewires your brain, making you more reactive, less creative, and less resilient. A 2021 study in The Lancet linked it to a 40% higher risk of heart attack. It weakens your immune system, leaving you vulnerable to every virus circling around. It even accelerates aging. Stress shortens telomeres, the protective caps on your DNA, effectively shaving years off your life. This isn't fear-mongering, it's a wake-up call. You have the power to stop this cycle, and it starts with 3 seconds. Let's tackle some objections. I don't have time for this. Really? 3 seconds is less time than it takes to refresh your email. My stress is too intense for this to work. That's exactly why it's designed this way, for the moments when everything else feels impossible. I don't buy the science. Fair enough. Dig into it. Look up sensory gating, vagus nerve stimulation, or the prefrontal cortex's role in stress regulation. The research is there, and it's rock solid. Here's a challenge. Practice the reset 5 times today, just to get the feel of it. Press, sniff, blow, say "clear." Notice the rhythm, the subtle shift in your body. Then when stress hits, you'll be armed. You'll have a tool that 90% of people don't even know exists. And when you use it, you'll feel it. Not just in your head, but in your bones. You'll stand taller, think sharper, and move through the world with a quiet strength that stress can't shake. This isn't about becoming someone else. It's about unlocking the resilience you already have. Your brain is a marvel, built to adapt and thrive under pressure, if you know how to steer it. The 3-second reset is your steering wheel. It's not a magic bullet, but it's a starting line. In a world that never stops throwing punches, a 3-second edge can change the game. Let's go deeper into why this matters. Stress isn't just a personal problem, it's a societal epidemic. The World Health Organization estimates that stress-related illnesses cost the global economy $1 trillion annually in lost productivity. In the US, 75% of adults report moderate to high stress levels, with half saying it's gotten worse in the past year. We're not just stressed, we're drowning. And the solutions we're offered, endless apps, pricey therapies, or vague advice, like self-care, often feel like band-aids on a broken leg. The 3-second reset is different because it's immediate, universal, and doesn't require you to buy into a lifestyle overhaul. Think about the ripple effects. When you're calm and focused, you're not just helping yourself, you're showing up better for everyone around you. You're more patient with your kids, more present with your partner, more effective at work. A study from Stanford found that leaders who manage stress effectively boost their team's performance by 20%. Imagine the impact if you could bring that kind of clarity to your life. The reset isn't just a tool, it's a catalyst for transformation. Let's explore how to integrate this into your daily routine. Start small. Set a reminder on your phone to do the reset 3 times a day. Maybe it's when you wake up, during your lunch break, and before bed. Treat it like a mental hygiene practice, no different from washing your hands. Over time, it becomes second nature. You'll notice you're not just reacting to stress but anticipating it, diffusing it before it takes hold. This is called stress inoculation, training your brain to handle pressure with ease. For those high-pressure moments, layer the reset with intention. If you're about to walk into a tough meeting, do the reset twice in a row to double down on focus. If you're in the middle of a crisis, pair it with a quick physical movement, like rolling your shoulders, to amplify the grounding effect. The reset is flexible, adapting to your needs. A nurse I coached uses it between patient rounds to stay steady. A lawyer relies on it to prep for cross-examinations. Wherever stress shows up, the reset is your counterpunch. Let's talk about customization. The core formula, anchor, shift, lock, is universal, but you can tweak it to fit your style. For the anchor, some people prefer pressing their index finger into their thumb instead of the palm. Others tap their wrist. The key is a firm, focused pressure that grabs your brain's attention. For the shift, you can vary the exhale. Some find a slow hiss through their teeth works better than a soft blow. For the lock, experiment with words. Reset might feel more techy, calm more soothing. The mechanics stay the same, but the flavor is yours. What about kids? Stress doesn't discriminate by age, and this reset is kid-friendly. Teach it to your children as a superpower to use when they're nervous about a test or upset after a fight. Simplify it. Squeeze your hand, sniff like a puppy, say cool. A school counselor I worked with introduced it to her students, and now they use it before presentations or during playground conflicts. It's empowering, giving kids a tool to manage big feelings without relying on adults. Let's address the skeptics again, because doubt is natural. If you're thinking this sounds too good to be true, consider the precedent. Small targeted interventions have revolutionized other fields. In medicine, a single aspirin can prevent a heart attack. In sports, a 5-second visualization can shave seconds off a sprint. The 3-second reset follows the same principle: precision over complexity. It's not about doing more, it's about doing the right thing at the right time. If you're still on the fence, let's talk about the cost-benefit analysis. The reset takes 3 seconds, costs nothing, and has 0 side effects. Compare that to the alternatives: anti-anxiety meds with long lists of warnings, therapy sessions that cost $150 an hour, or stress-related illnesses that rack up medical bills. Even if the reset works half as well as I'm claiming, isn't it worth a try? You're not committing to a lifestyle change, just 3 seconds to see if it shifts the needle. Let's zoom out to the bigger picture. Stress isn't just a personal battle, it's a cultural one. We live in a world that glorifies hustle and normalizes burnout. Social media bombards us with curated lives, making us feel like we're always falling short. The 24/7 news cycle feeds our anxiety with endless crises. The 3-second reset isn't going to fix the world, but it gives you a shield. It's a way to carve out a pocket of calm in the storm, to reclaim your mind when everything else is trying to hijack it. Think about the long game. If you use the reset daily, you're not just managing stress, you're building resilience. You're training your brain to handle pressure with grace, to bounce back faster, to stay steady when others crumble. This is what separates high performers from the pack. A 2022 study in Nature found that people with strong stress regulation skills have a 30% lower risk of mental health disorders over their lifetime. That's not just a stat, it's a blueprint for a better life. Let's get practical. How do you make this stick? Start by anchoring it to existing habits. Do the reset every time you check your phone, sip your coffee, or wait at a traffic light. These micro moments add up, rewiring your brain over time. Track your progress, jot down how you feel before and after each reset. You'll start to see patterns, like how it curbs your irritability or helps you sleep better. Share it with someone you trust. Teaching it reinforces your own commitment. A client of mine started a reset challenge with her coworkers, and now their whole team uses it to stay sharp during crunch times. What if you forget to do it? That's normal. Habits take time. Set visual cues, a sticky note on your monitor, a bracelet you touch to remind you, or lean on technology. Use a smartwatch to ping you every few hours. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Even one reset a day is a win, a small rebellion against the stress that's trying to own you. Let's talk about the ripple effects again, because this isn't just about you. When you're calm, you create a ripple of calm. Your kids pick up on your steadiness, learning how to handle their own emotions. Your colleagues benefit from your clarity, making your workplace less toxic. Your partner feels the difference when you're present instead of distracted. A study from Yale found that emotional regulation in one person can reduce stress in an entire group by 15%. You're not just saving yourself, you're lifting everyone around you. Now let's address the what ifs. What if you're in a public place and feel weird doing it? The reset is subtle. Nobody will notice you pressing your thumb or taking a quick sniff. What if you're too overwhelmed to remember the steps? Keep it simple. Thumb, sniff, word. You don't need to get it perfect. You just need to start. What if it doesn't work the first time? That's rare. But if it happens, do it again. Sometimes your brain needs a double dose to break through the fog. Let's explore some advanced applications. For chronic worriers, pair the reset with a follow-up action, like writing down one actionable step to address your concern. This channels the reset's clarity into problem solving. For athletes, use it before a game to sharpen focus. A gymnast I coach does it before every routine to nail her performance. For creatives, use it to break through mental blocks. A writer friend swears it's her secret weapon for beating procrastination. The reset isn't a one-trick pony. It's a foundation you can build on. Let's talk about the neuroscience one more time, because it's the backbone of why this works. The anchor step leverages the somatosensory cortex, which processes touch and pressure. This region is like a control panel for grounding your awareness, pulling you out of mental loops. The shift step exploits the olfactory limbic connection, a fast track to emotional regulation. The vagus nerve activation is a bonus, with studies showing it can reduce inflammation markers by 20% in regular users. The lock step ties it all together, using language to reinforce executive function. This isn't pseudoscience. It's a symphony of neural mechanisms, orchestrated in 3 seconds. What's the alternative? Keep doing what you're doing, gritting your teeth, scrolling to distract yourself, or numbing out with food, alcohol, or Netflix. Those might feel good in the moment, but they're band-aids, not solutions. Stress will keep chipping away at your health, your relationships, your potential. Or you can take 3 seconds to try something different. 3 seconds to reclaim your mind. 3 seconds to remind yourself you're stronger than the chaos. This is your moment. The world isn't going to slow down, but you can. The next time stress comes for you, don't let it win. Press your thumb, sniff and blow. Say clear. 3 seconds. 1 reset. Total control. You're not just surviving, you're thriving. This is your moment. The world isn't going to slow down, but you can. The next time stress comes for you, don't let it win. Press your thumb, sniff and blow. Say clear. 3 seconds. 1 reset. Total control. You're not just surviving, you're thriving. The power of the 3-second brain reset lies in its ability to transform chaos into clarity, not by ignoring stress, but by giving you the tools to navigate it with precision. You've learned the steps, the science, and the stakes. Now, let's solidify why this matters and how to make it a permanent part of your life so you can face any storm with unshakable confidence. The truth is, stress is relentless. It's not a one-time visitor, it's a constant companion in a world that demands more than we can sometimes give. Work pressures, family responsibilities, financial worries, and the endless noise of modern life create a perfect storm that can erode even the strongest among us. But you're not powerless. The 3-second reset is your shield, a way to stand firm when everything else feels like it's crumbling. It's not about pretending stress doesn't exist. It's about refusing to let it define you. Every time you use this technique, you're sending a message to your brain and body, I'm in charge. Let's talk about the long-term payoff. Using the reset consistently doesn't just help you in the moment, it rewires your brain for resilience. Neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to adapt and form new connections, means that every reset strengthens the neural pathways for calm and focus. Over time, your stress response becomes less hair-trigger, and your baseline state shifts towards steadiness. A 2024 study in Nature Neuroscience found that regular use of sensory-based interventions like this can increase prefrontal cortex activity by 15% over 6 months, enhancing decision-making and emotional regulation. This isn't just about surviving today's stress, it's about building a brain that thrives under pressure for years to come. Making the reset a habit is easier than you think. You don't need to carve out extra time or disrupt your routine. Tie it to moments you already experience daily, when you open your laptop, step out of your car, or pour your morning coffee. These micro habits stack up, creating a rhythm that feels natural. If you're forgetful, use triggers, a rubber band on your wrist, a note on your fridge, or a recurring phone alert. The goal is to make the reset as automatic as checking your watch. A client of mine, a project manager, set a calendar reminder for every hour during her workday. Within a week, she was doing it without thinking, and her team noticed her newfound calm under deadline pressure. Accountability helps too. Share the reset with someone, a friend, a coworker, a family member. Explain the steps and challenge them to try it with you. Not only does this reinforce your commitment, but it also creates a ripple effect. A teacher I worked with taught it to her students, turning it into a classroom ritual before tests. The kids loved it, and their anxiety levels dropped measurably, with 80% reporting better focus during exams. When you spread the reset, you're not just helping yourself, you're building a calmer, more resilient community. Let's address the fear of failure. What if you try the reset and it doesn't work perfectly? That's okay. Habits take time and your brain is unique. If the first attempt feels clunky, refine it. Maybe you need a firmer thumb press or a different word for the lock step. Experiment until it clicks. The reset is forgiving. It doesn't demand perfection. Even a partial shift, a slight easing of tension, a moment of clarity is progress. Think of it like learning to ride a bike. A few wobbles don't mean you're failing, just that you're learning. The reset's true power shines in its adaptability. It's not a rigid formula, but a framework you can mold to your life. If you're in a loud environment, skip the audible sniff and focus on a silent inhale. If you're in a formal setting, make the thumb press subtler by resting your hand on your wrist. If you're teaching it to someone with sensory sensitivities, swap the sniff for a quick blink or head tilt. The principles grounding, redirecting, reinforcing stay the same, but the execution is yours to shape. A musician I coached uses it before performances, swapping clear for flow to channel creative energy. A firefighter adapts it for high-stakes calls, using a quick knuckle press instead of the palm. Wherever you are, whoever you are, the reset fits. Let's confront the bigger why. Why invest in this at all? Because stress isn't just a nuisance, it's a thief. It steals your focus, your health, your joy. It chips away at your relationships, turning small disagreements into blowouts. It undermines your work, making you less creative and less effective. It even robs you of time, those sleepless nights, those hours spent worrying instead of living. The 3-second reset is your way to take back what's yours. It's not about eliminating stress, that's impossible. It's about refusing to let it run your life. The evidence is clear. Beyond the neuroscience, real-world results speak volumes. 2023 meta-analysis in the American Journal of Psychiatry found that brief sensory interventions reduce anxiety symptoms by 20% on average, with effects lasting up to an hour. That's an hour of clarity you wouldn't have otherwise. My clients, a diverse mix of professionals, parents and students, report better sleep, fewer arguments, and a greater sense of agency. One entrepreneur said it was like finding an off switch for my brain's chaos. A nurse described it as her secret weapon during 12-hour shifts. These aren't outliers, they're proof of what's possible when you take control. The world won't wait for you to feel ready. Deadlines won't pause, conflicts won't resolve themselves, and life won't get less demanding. But you don't need the world to change, you just need 3 seconds. 3 seconds to anchor your body, shift your mind, and lock in your focus. 3 seconds to remind yourself that you're not a victim of stress, but its master. You're not just getting through the day, you're owning it. So here's your final challenge. Commit to the reset for 1 week. Use it at least 3 times a day, in any context. Notice how it feels, how it changes your reactions, how it shifts your perspective. Write down one moment where it made a difference, no matter how small. That moment is your proof, your anchor for building this habit. Share it with someone you trust, and watch how it spreads. You're not just changing your life, you're starting a quiet revolution. This is about more than stress management. It's about reclaiming your power, your clarity, your life. The 3-second brain reset is your edge, your secret weapon, your key to thriving in a world that never stops. Press your thumb, sniff and blow. Say clear. 3 seconds, one choice, endless possibilities. You've got this.